Good morning, students. We are studying mechanical engineering material. In this part, today we are going to understand the basic about mechanical engineering material. Means why we are going to study this particularly mechanical engineering materials. Basically, MEM, mechanical engineering material, is the basis for your higher study subject like engineering metallurgy. In that, you have to study the different materials right from your ferrous metals, not only ferrous but non-ferrous metals also. So depending upon that, there are various metals, and it is said that during Second World War, means now you will understand why. What is the need of this teaching, studying this subject? So during Second World War, the second means during that Second World War, that ship was broken not because of enemy attack. पण शत्रू राष्ट्राने काही चित्र अटॅक केल्यामुळे ते जहाज बुडालं नाही. But whether but that ship was broken due to the wrong selection of material. Means you can see that wrong selection of material even causes a loss also in just like World War. So it is so important to select the material properly. If you cannot select material as per its requirement, then you can not get its life. Otherwise, you will not have that particular life for the material. So it is very important to select the material properly. So basically, metals are classified in number of categories. So among that, there are two basic categories called as a ferrous metal and non-ferrous metal. So these ferrous metals are the metals which are having the Fe ion as a main constituent. So ferrous metals are the metals which are having iron as a main constituent called as a ferrous metal. On the other hand, the metal which are contained other than ferrous, other than iron as the main constituent, they are called as the non-ferrous metals. Now basically these are called as a metal category. Means metal category are the metals which are having means which are from the particular area of the periodic table, and also they are containing some one of the material, one of the single element as a main constituent. Like suppose copper. So copper is a metal, or aluminum, or otherwise steel, iron. They are the metals. Means the metal will have the a single element in it as a main constituent. They are metals, and they are particularly from the particular area of periodic table. So they are all metals. These metals are classified into two types: ferrous metals and non-ferrous metals. These ferrous metals containing iron as a main constituent, whereas non-ferrous metal other than iron as a main constituent, they are called as the non-ferrous metals. So examples of non-ferrous metals are aluminum, copper. So aluminum or copper is the another element other than ferrous. So they are non-ferrous metals, whereas ferrous metals like steel, non-ferrous metal, cast iron, they are ferrous metals. Okay, so these are the ferrous metals. Now, in the next category of metals, that is polymer metals. Polymer metal are called as a plastics metal. Now, basically, all plastics are polymers, but not all polymers are plastics. Means in some polymers, there are other than plastic metals are also there. Okay, so plastics are the metals come under the category of polymers. They are basically that word polymer is derived from the Greek word called as a poly and meros. So poly means many and meros means a small unit. So when this small unit is interconnected together to form long chain molecules or three-dimensional molecules. So they are polymer metals, plastic metals. Basically, all these metals are polymer metals. Plastics can be classified into three types: plastic, thermosetting plastics, and elastomers or rubbers. So basically, thermoplastic plastics are the plastics which can be recycled again and again. Means you can given the heating, and after that they will become soft, and on cooling they will become hard enough to acquire the desired shape. So they are the thermoplastic plastics. Whereas thermoset plastics, the set word, they can be set only once. Only on first heating they will become soft, and on cooling they will become hard enough. And further heating will not recycle them. They are the thermosetting plastic. Means they can be set only once. That is thermosetting plastic. So like bakelite, or there are Buna and Buna S. These are the plastics which are comes under this thermosetting category. They can be set only once, and we cannot recycle these plastics. Normally, the ban from the government is on this thermosetting plastic only. We cannot recycle them easily, or not, never. They are thermosetting plastic. Then next category is thermoplastic plastic. Thermoplastic plastics are the plastics which can be recycled again and again. Okay? This thermoplastic plastic, we can give on heating and give the desired shape as per our requirement continuously. So they are recyclable products, and they are called as a thermoplastic plastic like polyethylene, polyvinyl chloride, PVC, polythene. These are the thermoplastic plastics. I know. And third category of plastic materials is the elastomers or rubbers. So elastic material like rubber material, they are having good elasticity, means almost 7 to 10 times they can be elongated on tensile load, and after removal of the tensile load they can regain its original shape and size. They are rubber material. So that is plastic category. Then some ceramic materials. Ceramic materials are the some advanced category material. They are used for mostly construction purposes, construction or decorative display items. Okay, they are ceramic materials. So they are inorganic materials like cement, gypsum, structure materials. They are all used in the construction purposes. They are ceramic material. And next is composite material. Composites means they are composed of two or more elements. They are composite materials. So composite materials containing minimum two or more elements. So that one of them is must be metal. So there are the composite materials. So this is your classification of engineering material, students. Now in the next part, we are also known that metals can be conveniently divided into ferrous and non-ferrous. Cast iron, wrought iron, steel, they are all ferrous metals. Whereas non-ferrous metals like aluminum, copper, they are non-ferrous metals. Okay, light metal groups such as aluminum, its alloys, magnesium and magnesium alloys, copper base alloys, white metal group such as nickel, silver, bearing metals, they are non-ferrous metals. And cast iron is also one of the ferrous metal. Cast iron, it is an alloy of iron and carbon and silicon. It is hard and brittle. Carbon containing more than 1.2% onwards. Up to 2% it is the steel, but from 2% onwards it is called as a cast iron. Cast iron containing free carbon, that is graphite or iron carbide phase, Fe3C. In general, the types of cast iron are, there are four types of cast iron basically as per your syllabus. Grey cast iron, when you fracture the cast iron part and when it shows the grey color, that is called as grey cast iron. But when you fracture that white cast iron and it will show the white color, naturally it is a white cast iron. Then third cast iron is the malleable cast iron. Malleable cast iron having good malleability, and fourth one is the spheroidal or nodular cast iron. Spheroidal means they are having the spherical shape of irons. That's why it is called as spheroidal or nodular cast iron. So these are the basic four types of cast iron in as per your syllabus. So this is grey cast iron applications. This grey cast iron, due to lubrication action, it is very suitable for parts where sliding action is desired. They are machine tool bodies, automotive cylinder blocks, heads, housing, flywheels, pipes, pipe fitting, and agriculture implements. So these are the applications of grey cast iron. Various pipe fittings we are using this grey cast iron. Even your lathe machine bed structure. Lathe machine bed structure or different machine tool structure is made by this gray cast iron because of its dampening capacity. Dampening capacity means shock vibrations. What are the vibrations are created during machining? They can be absorbed easily by this gray cast iron. That is, so it is used in machine tool structure beds. Then white cast iron. White cast iron carbon containing around up to 2.3%. In this cast irons, carbon is present in the form of iron carbide, that is Fe3C. And in this iron carbide in the form of Fe3C, white cast iron has high tensile strength and low compressive strength. The presence of iron carbide increases hardness, makes it difficult to machine. Consequently, these cast irons are abrasion resistant, these white cast irons. Then applications of these white cast irons are due to wear resistant characteristics, it is used for car wheels, rolls, or crushing grains and jaw crusher plates that white cast iron use due to its wear resisting characteristics. Abrasion resistance cast iron. Then we'll understand this third type of cast iron, that is malleable cast iron. These are the white cast iron basically, rendered malleable by annealing. तो व्हाइट कास्ट आयन जो आपण हिटिंग करतो and white cast iron जो annealing treatment करतो आपण, then we can obtain the malleable cast iron. These are tougher than gray cast iron and they can be twisted or bent without fracture. They have excellent machining properties and are expensive. Depending on the method of processing, they may be designated as black hut BM32 or BM30 or white hut WM40. So these are the different grades as per international standards of malleable cast iron. So that is the microstructure of malleable cast iron. Malleable cast iron is used for making parts where forging is expensive, such as hubs for wagon wheels, brake supports. So this is your malleable cast iron. Then after malleable cast iron, fourth cast iron is called as a spheroidal or nodular graphite cast iron. Now in this cast iron, graphite is present in the form of spheres. Graphite is the black form. It's just like in this. Suppose this is a malleable cast iron. So this black view, that black color phase is the graphite phase, that is carbon phase. So in this spherical cast iron or spheroidal cast iron, that graphite is present in the form of spheres or nodules. This type of cast iron is formed by adding small amount of magnesium, around up to 0.1 to 0.8% to the molten gray iron. The addition of magnesium causes the graphite to take form of nodule or spheroids instead of normal angular flakes. नॉर्मल अँग्युलर फ्लेक्सच्या ऐवजी काय होतं, स्पेरिकल फॉर्म तयार होतो तिथे, बरोबर. दॅट स्पेरिकल फॉर्म ऑफ आयन्स, दॅट इज कॉल्ड एज अ स्पिरॉइडल or nodular graphite cast iron due to addition of magnesium. Now these spheroidal cast iron have high tensile strength and good elongation properties, and they are designated as, for example, suppose SG spheroidal cast iron, that is SG 50/7 or HG 80/2. That is particularly designation for spheroidal cast iron, where the first number gives the tensile strength. That 50 in that two numbers, 50 first number is the tensile strength in megapascal, and the second number, that oblique 7, second number indicates the percentage elongation 7, that 7% elongation on the load, applying load. So that is your spheroidal cast iron, or called as a nodular graphite cast iron. These applications of this spheroidal cast iron, you can see in this microstructure there are the spherical shape ions. These spherical shape ions, they are the graphite particles. Because of the spherical shapes, they are called as a nodular cast iron. Nodular cast iron is generally used for casting required blocks, shocks, and impact resistance along with good machinability, such as hydraulic cylinders, cylinder head, rolls or rolling mills, and centrifugally cast products. So these are the applications of nodular or called as a spheroidal cast iron. Now wrought iron. Now this is very pure iron. When the iron content is of the order of 99.5, that is pure iron is called as the wrought iron. It is produced by remelting pig iron and some small amount of silicon, sulfur or phosphorus may be present. It is tough, malleable and ductile, can be easily be forged or welded. It cannot however take sudden shocks. So that is malleable or ductile cast iron. Applications of wrought iron are chains, crane hooks, railway coupling, such as components may be made of this iron. That is wrought iron. So wrought iron. The next part will go to the steel. Steel, this is far the most important engineering material, and there are enormous variety of steel to meet the wide variety of engineering requirements. Steel is basically an alloy of iron and carbon. Carbon is one of the important element in steel. Carbon has very drastic effect. Though that carbon is in very less percentage, from 0% up to 2 or maybe more 6.67. But though the carbon has very drastic effect on steels. Steel is basically an alloy of iron and carbon in which the carbon content can be less than 1.7% and carbon present in the form of iron carbide, that is Fe3, to impart hardness and strength. Two main categories of steel are plain carbon steel and alloy steel. So plain carbon steel, that means the properties of plain carbon steel depend mainly on the carbon percentage, and other alloying elements are not usually present in more than 0.5% to 1%, such as 0.5% silicon or 1% magnesium. There is a large variety of carbon C70 and so on. So where the number indicates the carbon percentage. So following categorization of these steels is sometimes made for convenience: dead mild steel, low carbon steel, medium carbon steel, or high carbon steel. Now in this low carbon steel, 0.15 to 0.46% of carbon. In that medium carbon steel, 0.45 to 0.8. Whereas high carbon, 0.8 to 1.5 percentage of carbon. No alloying element other than carbon is present. So these are low carbon, high carbon steels and medium carbon steel. Then there are alloy steels. These steels are elements which other than carbon are added in sufficient quantity to impart desired properties. This for improving the properties we are adding other than carbon as a adding element, alloying element. They are called as alloy steel. Having these properties can be improved such as wear resistance, corrosion resistance, electric or magnetic properties. Chief alloying elements added are usually nickel for strength and toughness, then chromium for hardness and strength, tungsten for hardness at elevated temperature, or vanadium for tensile strength. Manganese is also added manganese for high strength in hot rolled or hot treated conditions. Silicon for high elastic limit, cobalt for hardness. So these are all alloying elements like from nickel, chromium, tungsten, vanadium, manganese, silicon, cobalt, molybdenum. For these properties, we are adding the steel. In high speed steel also there are. These are the various metals. Non-ferrous metals मध्ये आपण बघतो aluminum, copper, beryllium. These are the aluminum alloys. Copper alloys like brass, bronze, gunmetal. So these are the different classification of material students. So in this way we can complete this part today. If there is any question, you can ask students. कुछ सर तुम्हारा लैपटॉप लागतं पहिला एक्सेल पहिले एक्सेल आलं माझ्या लॅपटॉपवर येतं का मला ते सिम्युलेशन शिकवायचं पण माझ्या लॅपटॉपवर राहिलं ना पहिले लेक्चर पहिले लेक्चर संपलं